everybody. Welcome into another exciting deck tech. We have a special one for you. As you can see, we have Shroofus herself. Actually, no, it is KPMTG. She is here with us. She is going to be doing a deck tech for her Shroofus Sproutsire deck that she played on episode 6, and she utterly annihilated us with that. Welcome on to the show. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
This deck was super fun, and I'm super excited to have her get to show it off for you guys. So without further ado, let's kick this off. Can you introduce the deck and tell us what makes it unique?
Sure, yeah. This is Shroofus Sproutsire. Here's my card here. But I will be showing it on Moxfield. It's just easier to look at the cards that way. But yeah, this is my kind of foray into starting like more mono-colored commander decks. I'm very guilty of sticking to multiple colors. So as soon as I saw Shroofus, I was like, this is for me. This is my guy. He's a saproling, but he's just like a fungus type of guy, and I love mushrooms. So yeah, and he makes a lot of cute little dudes. And I love tokens. I love making tokens. So this was definitely the deck for me, for sure.
Oh, yeah, he is literally adorable.
So cute. So cute.
So what is the general strategy behind the deck? Any particular synergies or themes that you have going on? I know you like tokens, and is there anything else going on in there?
Yeah, so there's some like cute pet cards in here, like some old cards that I don't see a lot of people playing, and we'll go over those. But there's just more ways to make saprolings. There's some like fungus in here. Mainly the plan of the deck is just to hit with Shroofus and hit with my other saprolings, make a lot of dudes, and then eventually pump them up and kill everyone at the table. But yeah.
Hell yeah. Is there how this is one of the big things that I like to approach when it comes to deck building is the mana base. That's usually like the first thing that I start with when it comes to mana base.
For sure.
Is there how does your mana base work? Is there any specific lands, any kind of weird mana fixing, or is it just your typical like mono green package?
I would say there's the mono green package. There's some cute little stuff in here, so I'll just go over it real quick. So we definitely got a Boseiju. I mean, you know, we're playing green, we want to be able to deal with artifacts and enchantments and stuff like that, and Boseiju is just an auto include in a deck like this. It also comes into play untapped, which is great. Castle Garenbrig, so I can just get some more mana, get some creatures. Got tons of forests. I've also got a fountain port in here. We're making tokens, so might as well be able to sacrifice them to draw a card. I've also got some other interesting lands in here. So here's a Llanowar Reborn. So this is in here because I want to make my commander a little bit bigger, hopefully. He's only a 1/1, but he does have trample. So anything to make him a little bit bigger is really helpful. And this is just a land, so it's an easy slot. Mosswort Bridge, I feel like an auto include, especially in a mono green deck. Like you're, you know, if I get 10 tokens out there, I'm gonna be able to play whatever's underneath. A Nykthos, you know, make lots of green mana, easy. So I also have Okina, Temple to the Grandfathers, so I can make my commander a little bit bigger. Same with Oran Reef, so this is going to put counters on green creatures that entered the battlefield this turn, which sometimes is a lot. And here's Pendlehaven, so this can also pump up my commander a little bit. Also got some fun stuff in here, like, so there's a Reliquary Tower, and here's a Rope's Passage, so if I make my commander really big, I can make him unblockable and also get lots of saprolings. A 3-tree city, which is now like just an auto include in Kindred decks for sure. So there's a thicket. Here's also a war room, also an auto include in a monocolor deck. I feel like you're paying 3 mana to pay 1 life to draw a card. Just really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then mainly just forests, which I feel like is perfect for a monocolor deck.
Yeah.
You don't want to go too crazy with the special lands.
So speaking of unblockable, I know exactly how it feels to get hit with an unblockable Shroomus, especially when it's like 23 or something like that. So.
Yes, exactly.
So 32 lands. Is that your typical go-to when it comes to a mana base for your decks?
I'm kind of greedy. I'm kind of greedy.
Okay.
I'm a little greedy. But here's the thing about this deck too, and we'll go over that as well. The creatures, there's a lot of well, not a lot, maybe I should put it more, but there's some 1-drop creatures in here. I also have the ramp package, so I also have, Nature's Lore, 3 visits, cultivate, Kodamas Reach. So it's worked out fine so far. Thankfully, my commander's 3 mana, so usually I get that, and once I get that, it's like,
yeah,
I don't need a whole lot of lands to actually get going.
We did see a lot. We did see a few Mana Dorks in there, so there you go. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, how do you approach the balance of creatures, spells, and artifacts / enchantments in the deck? Do you because it is a lower curve deck, like you said, you're favoring more creature types, specifics over anything else, or?
Yeah, I mean, so with the commander, so you want to make saprolings, and what makes saprolings usually is fungus. So I have a couple of fungus in here. So I have a psychotrope Thallid to sack a saproling, draw a card. I have a couple other funguses that make saprolings. I have a Mycoloth here, a Tendershoot Dryad, which makes more saprolings. I also have this new card from one of the Bloombrawl decks, which I am obsessed with. It's got an adventure you can make saprolings, and it's a Badger Druid. And then it says each fungus and saproling you control has a tap to add green, and at the beginning of your end step, make a sapling.
It turns all the fungus and saprolings into Mana Dorks.
Exactly. I also have a Jaheira in here too, which is very good. And Enduring Vitality. I want to say there's also a Cryptolith, right? Yes, there's also a Cryptolith right in here. So I don't really have a problem with mana.
you get one land down, everything else kind of sorts itself out, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
What are the most important cards in the deck, and what role do they play in your overall strategy?
Most important cards in the deck. So let me think about this. It would be anything that would make Shroofus unblockable, because the biggest problem that I have is that he's 3 mana. A lot of times I can get him down earlier with a Mana Dork, but being able to attack and just start hitting people because it's when it deals combat damage, to start getting the saplings. Otherwise I'm kind of stuck. So anything that makes him unblockable. So there's a champion of Lamholt in here, which can help with that. Let's see what else. There's also a Ruxa. So Ruxa's interesting. You might not think it works at first, but she says you may have creatures you control with no abilities assign their combat damage as though they weren't blocked. So they can still be blocked, but you can assign their combat damage to the person and get the trigger. So that's with saprolings, not with the commander.
Super trample.
Right, like an extra trample, but that's only with the saproling. So that's a way to get in and get through. I also have stuff that gives death touch, so Seraph, so they can get through. There's also an Oran Frostfang in here as well. Other important cards, I would say, so some of the artifacts. So there's a Commander's Plate, a Brotherhood Regalia. This card is like MVP because it's 2 mana, and then you can equip the commander for 1. It gives it War 2 and can't be blocked. That's disgusting.
That is my arch nemesis right there.
Also, another newer one, Silver Shroud Costume. Equipped creature can't be blocked, and has flash, and it gives Shroud. So that is also really good in this deck for sure. I would consider those to be absolutely required MVP. If I have that in my opening hand, I'm snap keeping.
Yeah. Awesome. So on the other side, are there any cards you found underperforming or that you've considered cutting?
Let me have a look. See, some of them are just a little bit slow. Usually I want to get to a certain place where I have a ton of saprolings, and it is hard once I get board wiped to kind of recuperate and recover. So some of the higher mana cost cards are just a little bit slow for me. So maybe the Thelonite Hermit, maybe the Mycoloth is just quite slow I mean, but other than that, maybe sometimes effects like second harvest, to like double all your tokens, like you already have a ton of tokens at that point, so it's almost like a win more card. But still fun. I would still keep it in the deck for sure.
There's
just
nothing
because
wrong with winning more,
Right. Exactly. Same with cards. Like I might be taking out Primal Vigor because the problem with this card, in case you didn't know, is that it's symmetrical. So
Yes,
it also helps out your opponents, which is why it's a lot cheaper than doubling season. So I'm thinking I might take that one out.
Yeah. So you mentioned before, like, board wipe. What? So is that your deck's biggest weakness? Is board wipes?
I would definitely say so. I mean, I do have some protection in here, so I have like a heroic intervention, but that's honestly pretty much it in green. Everything else is like individual creature. Well, I have a Rapid Vigor as well to regenerate, but everything else is pretty much individual protection, like a Blossoming Defense and a Snakeskin Veil and other things to protect my commander. But that's pretty much it. A board wipe sets me back. But hopefully the plan is that I draw enough cards or have means to protect my board. So.
Okay. So, what are any advice for people wanting to run the deck for, say, maximizing its potential during gameplay?
For sure. I definitely feel like I've had the most amount of success when I've been able to draw lots of cards and try to keep up with the rest of the table, because I mean, it depends on what other people are playing, but if they're playing, blue, or they're playing, decks that draw lots of cards, you're going to struggle to keep up. So getting cards that help you draw, like getting a I also want to add another card to this deck, but not yet. Getting a like Return of the Wild Speaker, drawing lots of cards. There is also a Hunter's Insight, draw lots of cards. There's a Toski in here. Getting something like that, I feel like, is really important, because if you are board wiped or you are set back in some way, being able to draw into the answers is really important. I do think maybe an addition to this deck that I am considering would be a Skull Clamp.
Skull Clamp.
It's not in here, and I think I just forgot. It should be in here.
Yeah, you got all those little 1/1s, 0/1s laying around,
Exactly.
Put a little hat on them, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some couple fun questions now. What's the most memorable or exciting moment you've had while playing this deck?
I mean, I definitely think it's the game that we played, because so basically it's with Alpha Status. I had just added the card to the deck. I hadn't been able to try it out yet. And so drawing that and already having plus, I don't know, however many tokens I had, like 10 tokens, and just being able to give plus 30 to my commander with trample, making him blockable. It's just chef kiss. It's just exactly what I want to do with the deck. Like, even if it doesn't win, even if it doesn't, kill the rest of the table with something because there's no Crater Hoof in here. There's an Enraged Forerunners.
You build your own Crater Hoof.
You build your own Crater Hoof, exactly. Just being able to do that and swing for tons of damage with a card that nobody sees coming is so much fun. Also, my other memorable moment with this deck is with the Tangle, for sure. This card will win you the game, because you get to a point where I played this game and I got to a point it was 1v1, and the person swung out at me with everything, and I'm like, Tangle. And then I swung back on my next turn and won the game. So
nobody expects a Tangle.
Nobody expects a Tangle. People might expect a Fog. They're like, oh, do you have a Fog? And that's fine. Fog is totally fine as well. But I love Tangle specifically because attacking creatures don't untap. So it just means that they're just extra screwed. yeah,
you get a little extra time too. So if you don't outright kill them that swing back, they're not untapping, so it's fine.
Exactly.
And last question: are there any future cards or sets you're excited to see and think maybe might fit well in the deck coming up? Maybe Tarkir or.
Maybe, yeah, interesting question. Maybe there'll be something in Tarkir. I mean, anything, they're always coming out with new stuff. Anything with fungus or saprolings, I'll definitely be interested in looking at. Tokens is a pretty common strategy in general, so I always think there's going to be new interesting cards coming out. Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to Lorwyn next year. I'm sad that it got delayed, but, at least we're getting it.
Yep.
So hopefully maybe that, and then maybe one day we'll go back to Bloomborough and we'll get some more of those types of cards as well.
Some more fun guys.
fun guys, just little guys.
All right, so that is the deck, guys. It's super fun to play against. I love getting beat down by a 30-30 little mushroom. It's great. If you guys want to check out the whole list, I'm going to have it in the link down below. So make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you follow KP everywhere. I will have all of her links also down in the description down below. Thank you for coming on and showing everybody this wonderful deck.
Yeah.
It was super fun to play against. And any last words for people trying to maybe build it, if there's, anything you want to start with?
Yeah, for sure. I would say just have fun with it. It's just a fun card. My deck building philosophy is, yes, I want to build strong decks that win, but I also just want to have fun playing with my friends. I don't want to be too... I don't want to have fun for the sake of other people's fun. So I love a deck like this where other people also have fun playing it too. So.
You heard it here. You'll never see KP run a
I never said that.
hand destruction card in her life.
I will not say anything. No comment.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you again on another episode. KP, thank you. I appreciate you coming on here. Everybody, have a wonderful day and good night.